Speak to us of the importance of love and trust and hope. May Roger, who walked in the footsteps of Jesus, share in his resurrection and new life. And so we'll listen to this afternoon some of the stories of Roger's life, and then we'll view some of the visual memories of that. And so firstly, I invite Lachlan to lead us in our eulogy.
Roger Byron McLean, my Poppy, was born on the 23rd of December 1942 at Rockaby Private Hospital in Albury to Stuart and Nona. He joined Mari, who was 4 years old. The family lived in Smith Street. He attended Albury Public School, and his mum would dink him to school every day, which he loved. His secondary school was Albury High. Nano remembers a story he told about the day he was called to the principal's office. "Roger, you cheated on your exam." "How do you know that?" Roger said, to which the principal responded, "Well, you were sitting beside this student who wrote us his answer to question 4, 'I don't know.' And you wrote down, 'I don't know either.'" Always the joker from such a young age. In his early teenage years, his mum, Nona, passed away, and his dad looked after he and Mari for a number of years. Later on, Stuart met and married Phyllis Pearce, and she became his wonderful stepmom. And with Phil came a stepsister, Barbara, and a new address at Berry Street. On leaving school at 15, he got a panel beating apprenticeship and became one of the best around. He remodeled 2 Holden cars into one, complete with a roll under bumper in 2 shades of green, and it became well known around the district. He continued this trade until retirement. In 1961, he met Leonie O'Callaghan, my Nano, and they married in 1963. Together they had 5 children: Scott, Cherie, my mum, Tiffany, who sadly passed at 22 months, and then along came Melody and Travis. He was a hard worker, and he sometimes worked 2 jobs to support his family. After his parents retired and moved to Bermagui, he spent the next 20 years taking Leonie and the kids to visit every Christmas. 4 kids, a trailer, a dog, the rabbit, and everything but the kitchen sinks packed on the Blue Ferry, or packed up into the little blue trailer and hauled off to Burmy every year. They spent the summers on the Blue Ferry, learning to fish, catching prawns, getting into trouble, and planning out the best oyster raids imaginable. All the holiday excursions involved following Poppy around to various golf courses all over the south coast, and everyone still fondly remembers watching Poppy play over the cliffs at Hogan's Hole. Throughout his younger years, he played football with North Albury, and then took up golf, playing at the West Albury Par 3. He was a junior football coach for the Lavington Little League, and as his golfing improved, he joined the Hume Golf Club, and that's where his golf really took off. His handicap over the years dropped to 3, and he won many tournaments and was club champion in 1975 and 85. He also played in the Hume pennant team and won lots of those as well. He entered the New South Wales Dunhill Championship and won all his matches across New South Wales to become one of the top 6 amateur golfers in New South Wales. A great achievement. But Poppy loved the Hume Golf Club. He joined when it was no more than a tin shed. He eventually became a director and stayed involved and playing until it was closed. During that time, he was also a member of the Sacred Heart Tennis Tuesday Night Club, and they became known as the Dirty Dozen, playing together for at least 20 years. On retirement, Pop and Nano started caravanning and had many amazing trips all over Australia, making lifelong friends, especially in the Riverina A-Van Club. Even though their van did not comply, Poppy made sure it did by hanging A-Van signs all over it. Poppy organised his famous horse racing game and became clerk of the course, in full costume, of course, every Melbourne Cup day. In 2009, Roger was diagnosed with Parkinson's. His degeneration happened fairly quickly over the years, despite frequent trips to Melbourne to see the specialists. He still had his sense of humour until 2 years ago when his health deteriorated and finally developed dementia and was almost wheelchair bound. Leonie, Nano, looked after him at home with the help of Mercy Home Care right up until the end. Roger adored his friends and family and would do anything for anybody. He was a practical joker who had a wonderful sense of humour. He loved to entertain and dress up. He loved an audience and was always the greatest showman. His golfing mates often said, "For God's sake, don't let McLean near the microphone because we can't get him off." To me, all of Poppy's achievements pale in comparison to what is, in my opinion, his greatest achievement. Being a Poppy. Myself, Maddie, my sister in Japan, India, Mitchell, Jaden and Coco are also lucky to have had a Poppy that was as fun, entertaining and loving as he was. When you're little, all you care about is your Poppy, and you don't care about the man he was before. And I think all of the grandkids would agree, he was a fantastic Poppy. This past week has been sad, but it's also been really nice to hear all the amazing stories people have about Poppy. And I encourage anyone with a fun or nice story to tell about Poppy to find me or my cousins at the wake and share with us. So, even though our Poppy is no longer with us, each of us carries a unique piece of him with us throughout our lives. Coco takes his cheeky grin, Jaden the golfing ability, Mitchell has that big cheeky grin as well, and he loves being on the water and is a passionate fisherman. India plays first grade football. Maddie loves to dress up and create things and shared many wonderful goofy jokes with Poppy. I myself have many things in common with Poppy. Our golf handicaps are similar. His 3, mine 45. He was one of the top 6 amateur golfers in New South Wales. I'm one of the top 6 amateur golfers in the McLeans. Poppy built and fixed many cars, and I once overfilled my van with oil and broke down in the middle of the Nullarbor. And Poppy was a very competitive tennis player, and I once won a match against my then 8-year-old cousin India. But most of all, we both share a love of bringing joy and fun wherever we go, which is something I cherish and love, and aim to do every day with my motto that I've dedicated to Poppy, find the fun. I encourage everyone to find the fun where they can. And we also will always have our secret handshake, which will forever remain secret between the grandkids and their Poppy. Even as Poppy's health deteriorated, the one thing that never changed was the look on his face when one of us came to visit. Even towards the very end, when we arrived to see Poppy, his face would light up, his eyes would get really wide, and you could see his excitement to see you. The love he had for his grandkids radiated from his face and his big wide grin. This is how I will remember him, and how I'm sure all of my cousins will remember him too. Full of excitement, filled with love, and ready to have fun. As Lionel said last week, Poppy's just gone on ahead to set up the games. And you better believe that when we all arrive, the games will be on again. Let's celebrate a life well lived and cherish his memories. He'll be greatly missed and forever loved by his friends and family. Thank you.
So on behalf of the friends gathered here, I'd ask Bill if he would like to lead us in his reflection.